From thrift store to stunning decor, I'm going to show you my best and favorite pieces from 2024, how I style them, what I've looked for in the stores, and how I absolutely love thrifting. I'm here to help you create the most amazing space so you will love your space, because everybody deserves to love their space. No matter on the price point, we can always find pieces at a thrift store. Affordable pieces that are going to make your home absolutely stunning. I am so excited to share some tips and hints about thrifting and how to style them in your space. I believe everyone deserves to love their space. It's not about how much you spend or where you've purchased something from. Sometimes it is the most cutest, beautiful pieces that absolutely light you up and can make a space really come together. Bring personality, style, color, and so many other beautiful things come from thrifting and incorporating that into our styling. Finding pieces that actually speak to you in a store usually happen in a thrift store for me, not usually in a big box store. It's very rare that I find decor and trinkets in a big box store that I really, really love. So for me, going to a thrift store is, 9 times out of 10, I'm bound to find something that I just fall in love with. But there are always the exception that you go and you don't find anything. Thrifting can help in almost every room of the home or in a workspace. So finding little trinkets everywhere for your entryway to your bedroom or bedside table, the living space, the dining table, the coffee table, the kitchen, almost everywhere can be really, really helpful from finding thrifted pieces. Thrifting has taught me many, many lessons. And one big one is that beauty is usually found in a vintage or an older piece that has a bit of a story, that's a little bit different. And I feel like most big box stores just don't hit it for me anymore. So living by my philosophy that everybody deserves to love their space is something I truly, truly love and believe in. And by thrifting and going vintage shopping, sometimes you can truly find the most amazing pieces at practically next to nothing, especially in some of the thrift stores that I have been able to access and find. I am 100% on board with finding thrifted pieces that are super duper affordable, that you can slightly DIY or clean up a little bit. One of my biggest tips that I tell people is 100% do not buy anything that is super broken. We are not here to fix things. We want things with a story, unless it's something that you have been looking for and you cannot find it anywhere. I strongly suggest that you put the broken pieces back and you keep looking. So creating a unique and timeless space is about finding pieces that you truly love. And that is something that I really try and express and encourage people to really just go wandering through thrift stores. You don't have to buy anything every time. See what's around, go to different areas, pop it in your calendar and go, oh, I'm going to go to XYZ on the 1st of every second month. And before you know it, sometimes those pieces you can find and your home is all of a sudden feeling like it has personality. It has those unique touches and it's starting to really feel like home. Home doesn't happen overnight, and I will 100% tell you that in an affordable way, home does not happen overnight. So first up is this cute little open sort of bowl. It has a beautiful blue filigree flowers on it. And as if you know anything about me, I love blue flowers, as I've popped some here from the garden, as well as I love green, obviously. But this piece really caught my eye because of the shape and style of it. It can be used so many ways, and obviously I will pop lots of B-roll up of me talking through this piece. Now, there is no chips, which was something that I was really, really scared of when it first caught my eye. I was like, oh, please don't be chipped. But it is in immaculate condition. Now this piece on the bottom, it does say made in Japan. And that was something that was really, really special because I a big believer in finding items that are made all around the world to fill your home. So that ticked a big box for me. Plus this beautiful flower pattern. It has some of the most prettiest little swirls and colors of shades of blue. The inside is also like not stained. There is nothing wrong with this bowl. And I believe from memory, it cost me $8. So $8 Australian dollars for me for this bowl that can sit as a catch-all. You can use it in the kitchen. You can put dip and chips through here. You could serve it up, pop it on the kitchen with a candle. You can put dried flowers. It can sit on the coffee table, on books and magazines. This is a really, really versatile piece. And for me, for the $8 price point, it absolutely ticked a lot of boxes. The versatility in pieces, I believe, is something that we really, really need to think about. I don't believe that buying one thing for one purpose all the time is smart. We live in a very, very diverse world. We can have items that are really, really multi-use. And I feel like that's really special. Pieces like this are what make thrifting super duper fun and special. I'm so happy that I could find something that potentially had like quite a bit of history, but it may have sat in a grandma's like china cabinet and no one was allowed to touch it. I like to sort of tell myself funny stories like that. But it now sits in my home and it has story for me. The next items are books. Now, books can be a hit and miss every time or every second time you go. Sometimes you hit the jackpot, and I'm just such a big believer in going back to the book section. Don't miss the book section. I mean, some of our most favorite books are in aviation. They're blue, the spine, the font is stunning, and they absolutely sit star of the show in some of our spaces. So here is a really quick way to style books. They're all in the shades of blue. I have them in different sizes. And if you don't necessarily want to see any of the spines, I style them in this configuration. You can pop them all to the side. You could put your vase of flowers, obviously. You could put candles and candlestick holders up here. You could put a frame. You could put so many different things, but I love that it gives you height as well as like an interesting colorway that would match in with a blue or gold or grayish blue decor. You can also style them in this way on a bookshelf. And that really gives you some height and interest of color as well. So books aren't just decorative, they tell stories, they spark conversation. Sparking a conversation from a book that's laying in your home that you haven't paid, $100 or more for, that is absolutely beautiful, that someone's like, oh wow, where did you find that? Or did you get that as a gift or something? And you can say, no, I actually found it at a thrift store. And it has D such and such inside, as most of our books do. They have a story inside of D such and such, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, with love, and then a date. And I mean, that is just so special. Now, thrifting for books can be really overwhelming. So you do need to take your time. You also need to have an idea in your head about what you're going to look for that day. Are you going to look for big books, little books, really nice spined books? Because to me, the cover being in a great condition and a spine that's got pretty typography, a pretty color, and that is not destroyed by any means. That is really important to me. And so I always go in with an agenda, and sometimes it's a colorway that I'm really looking for a client, that we're trying to fill a little section. And sometimes it is open-minded, see what's around, check out what's in different areas, but I never ever miss the book section. So here we have this one here. So this is the National Air and Space Museum book. It is very heavy. It is huge. It is fabric on the outside with like an embossing on the front. It has a really classic print on the spine. So chatting through books at a thrift store can be really, really fun. I don't want it to be overwhelming, and I don't want you to freak out about what size or color or style or anything like that. Find things that you are interested, but then also find things that you're really not interested in. It really can go down to the look and the style of the book. Sometimes I find some novels and things that I don't read novels, and that just doesn't really interest me, but some of the covers, like these ones with the gold filigrees and things on the edge, some of these are just beautiful for styling. I won't read any of this. There's cool pictures and things, but it's purely a styling piece. It's very cool. It's actually also got blue on the page spine, like on the actual pages. That's very cool. But some books are really important to find things that you love. And for us, that is in aviation. I was a flight attendant and my hubby is a pilot. So we are super big on aviation, and I have a couple of our stack of books. Now, some of these books I have found were less than 10 Australian dollars, and I have no doubt they are worth a lot more. And I love looking for aviation books. That's something usually pretty high on my list. And to find books like this one that says, "To Russell, the Aviator, Mark, October 1984. Now, 1984 is the year I was born. So I know that this book is 40 years old. The most amazing stories and planes and pictures, and this book has not probably been touched in 40 years. Now, this book does not have one single tear or bent corner. It is in like spectacular condition. I love the typography and the font on the side. It's very, very cool. This aircraft one is in like a cool fabric, but it's shiny. It has a red plane on the front. It has red on the spine, which is really cool. Now these ones here, this one has a little bit more of the wear. Obviously someone was reading this. The pictures and stuff are great, but for me, this one is definitely going to get used for styling. And I love that they complement each other in size. Now, sometimes size does matter, especially in styling. You don't want too many things that are too small. We definitely need some pieces that are of scale and size depending on what we're styling. Otherwise it just looks too little and pokey, and we don't want that. Now this one here is one of my absolute favorites. History of Aviation with a gold on the spine, and it has like a gold plane thing. Now this is huge. This also sits as a main piece with things on top of this one. This one is a huge conversation starter, especially because people know we are in aviation, we like aviation, and we talk about it. And so pulling something like this out and chatting through the history of aviation actually isn't very old. You know, we haven't been flying for billions of years or anything. So for me, books can bring so much personality, so many unique touches with different colors and styles and features. I feel like books are an incredibly affordable way of adding personality and unique styling ways. I am a huge fan of the book section. So next time you are in a thrift store, do not miss the book section. Books can also go in unexpected places. You can stack them in a kitchen, on a counter, with a vintage bowl. They definitely will add a warmth to the space. They definitely make a lived-in cozy vibe. And you can rearrange them really often if you like to change your space. Now, one more I'm going to add into this video, and that is art. Art in a thrifted vintage way can be so cool, and I'm so excited about art. I mean, I have pieces, full paid price pieces from artists. I love artists. We have some for Christmas, which is really cool. And that is definitely has its place. I'm not going to disregard living artists and big artists because they do some incredible work. But finding thrifted pieces just to add into bookshelves or add into a kitchenette styling piece is so much fun. Now I have to show you the frame first, because the The frame has like lots and lots of like layers. It definitely has some chips and things that are going to get fixed. This piece here was about $15 from a local thrift store. It is beautiful. I absolutely love it. I love the colors. Obviously it has the blue, it has the greens. It's very river-like, which is near where we live. So I just think finding art sometimes that speaks to you, like this one spoke to me. I saw it from across the space, across the room as I walked in, and I was just like, that piece is mine. And I ran over to it and I was like, that just is everything to me. I loved moving this piece around though. And because it is just a thrifted piece, I don't mind where it goes, really. It can sit in the kitchen, it can sit in the entryway, it can sit in a bedroom. I like to just sort of rearrange quite often. So keeping an open mind when you're looking for art can be really, really important. I find finding art one of the hardest things to do in a thrift situation. So definitely try and have an open mind, have maybe a color palette in mind, but not a size or a specific style, or you might be looking for a really specific frame. So this frame was just a bonus for me. I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's got some interest, but the art actually caught me the most. Think about all the different spaces in your home that thrifted art could go. A bookshelf next to a vase in the kitchen, in the entryway. It could be finding thrifted art and adding it into a gallery wall is one of the most awesome looking things, because it's always the interesting piece. It's not just the classic printed or everyday piece you've seen at a big box store. It could be the statement piece you've been looking for, or it could be a really beautiful, subtle accent piece. Art adds so much personality and space to your room and your home that sometimes just finding an accent piece is all you need. Looking for something super special in a colorway, and that could be the big tick in the box. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be really affordable. You can pop an older art piece in a new frame if you're looking for that mix of modern and vintage. There is so many ways you could design a gallery wall using vintage pieces and modern frames, or the other way around. Look for all these vintage beautiful frames, but replace the art with prints that really speak to you and your style. Your space should really make you smile. As soon as you walk in, no matter what, it should feel good on the inside. And that is why I'm so passionate about you finding pieces that really speak to you, finding pieces that mean things that are interesting to you, not to the page 6 of a magazine. I need you to really find something that you're so in love with. And I know you'll find that at a thrift store, because there is so many items at a thrift store from so many different styles of people and eras that we are just so lucky to have some thrift stores that are around, and we get to go shopping essentially. Now for me, thrifting isn't always about the money. It is also about being sustainable, giving things a second lease on life, having things in my home for another 20 or 30 years rather than those items becoming a landfill if the thrift store hasn't sold them in time. Now, everything I purchase from a thrift store that is in my home definitely reflects me and my style. Flowers, the color of the books, the style of the print, everything reflects me. Now, I really encourage you to perhaps look through magazines and find inspiration, but definitely find your style. What do you like to look at? What do you want to see in your space? If you need any help at all, please reach out. I am always here for a conversation. I love chatting decor and design, obviously. My life revolves around changing my home around constantly, because I'm always finding new and interesting trinkets or decor items that I want to put in. Really hope that we can chat through some ideas that you might have and ways to find those items. Another tip about going thrifting could be to have an amount of money that you're willing to spend that day. So sometimes you might be like, look, I've only got $15. What can I find? And you might be lucky enough to find a really beautiful art piece for $15, Or you could find 2 pieces. A limited budget can actually force you to really look through items and really find something that you love, rather than saying, I don't have any money, or I don't have enough money, I need more than that. Sometimes the smallest pieces just keep building and building in your home and in your space, that all of a sudden 6 months have passed, you've been 6 times, you found a few items, but maybe one really great item, and all of a sudden your home is really starting to feel like home. Thrifting can be great to blend styles also between vintage and modern. It's one of the biggest reasons why I love thrifting. Creating a vintage and modern home brings that cozy, unique, personal style to any space, especially in a home. And I really hope that today's video has encouraged you to potentially go thrifting in the next couple of months. Pop it in your calendar, pop it in your diary. And if you do find something that you're really like in love with, please send it to me. I really want to know. Did you find a special book? Did you find an amazing vase? Did you find an art piece that you're like, oh my gosh, look at this, look at the price, I'm going to style it, or I need help styling something, Jade, hey, can you help me? Please reach out. I would love to get to know you a little bit more. There's been quite a few new people popping up, which is so great. DIY, design, that is what I'm so passionate about, helping you love your space no matter on any budget. So if that is something that you're interested in, I would love to have you part of the family here. I am Jade, I live in Australia, and I hope you have had an amazing day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, I will see you then, and have an awesome day. Bye.